I want me some glory hole.
Oh, yeah. Hello, welcome to the Football Glory Hole Podcast. Whether you listen to this on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spreaker, SoundCloud, YouTube, or on iHeartRadio, we thank each and every Glory Hole seeker for tuning in this week. I'm your host, Bo Stevens, and I'm joined as always here on the Sports Patio by my good buddy Longhorn. Longhorn, what's up, buddy?
All right. Bo Stevens, I am 5 beers in and ready to rock. The weather is turning cold, and that's exactly when the Football Glory Hole heats up. Our computer programs and algorithms are locked into what these teams truly are, not what the public perception is. So now it's time to bust up those dirty bookies and cash those tickets. Go to our website, thefootballgloryhole.com, and hit us up for all those premium picks so you can bet football the right way, the winning way, the Football Glory Hole way. Now, if you're new to us and what we do, holy shit, are you in for a treat. We deliver the best success rate in the business, and we do it in a way that nobody else in the country has the balls to do it. We will make you laugh. We will make you cringe.
Holy Santa Claus shit.
But most of all, baby, we will make you a shit ton of money.
Woo! 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 Ow! Love that money.
People, you cannot beat our prices, and you will not find a more consistent winner in the market. And don't forget to check out our new show on YouTube called The Degenerate with world-famous RJ Choppy from 105.3 The Fan.
Murray, and against Zana, left side, swings this one, Holloway for 3, and I set fire to the rain. Watch it pour as I touch your face.
Now, because I love you and it is our podcast and we do whatever the fuck we want, it's free college pick time, baby. All right, our free college pick of the week is going to be Michigan minus 22 points. That's right. We got it out to our clients at minus 22. It is skyrocketing up to 23.5, 24 at some places. Harbaugh has seemingly fixed the defensive problems with his team that was giving him all kinds of fits earlier in the year. The new spread offense still isn't what it should be, but Illinois should be the perfect recipe for that. Illinois has lost 3 in a row, looking awful, and Minnesota ran for 300-plus yards on them. We look for the Michigan offense to get some traction here, and the defense to snuff out a very pedestrian Illinois offense. Our college free pick of the week on the podcast is Michigan minus 22. Now, don't forget, you can find all our free picks on our website under the You Guessed It Free Picks tab, and also by subscribing to our YouTube channel, The Football Glory Hole. Let's do it, baby. Now, with all that business out of the way, welcome to the world's #1 football capping podcast. Bo Cephas, as always, here on the Sports Patio. We got the TVs glowing. We got the beer flowing, and right now it's everybody's favorite part of the show. My friend, tell the people all about your horrible, fucking disgusting, cold beer choice of the week.
Well, thank you very much there, sir. Tonight I am drinking Oktoberfest by Leinenkugel. Leinenkugel Brewery in Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin. I gave it 3.25 stars. It's a good Oktoberfest. It's not a great one, and since it is October, I will be drinking these all month, a different brewery each week here on the podcast, and we're going to get a little history lesson about Oktoberfest and some things of that nature. Oktoberfest started on October 12th, 1810, when King Ludwig I, that's a great name, Ludwig,
that is a great name,
married Princess Teresa Hildburghausen.
I'm sorry?
And yeah, which she had to be hot with a name like that. I mean, my God. And then all of Munich was invited to the wedding party, and it just kind of grew from there. So that is the history of how Oktoberfest started.
Sounds good to me, man.
All right, boys and girls, we got to get over the ad right now, so pay some bills. And this week we are sponsored by BetAnySports.eu. I said BetAnySports.eu. It is the only place you go for online gambling. All sports, just like the name suggests. They got poker, They got full casino games. They advertise reduced juice, minus 105. They advertise same-day payouts. They welcome Bitcoin, and they advertise the widest selection of props, parlays, and teasers. People, go to betanysports.eu. betanysports.eu and put in our code word GLORYHOLE, all one word, GLORYHOLE, and you get a 35% sign-up bonus today. What does that mean? If you deposit $1,000, you're going to get back $1,350. We're going to give you our picks. You're going to bet our picks. You're going to take their money on top of the free money they just gave you. It's a win-win, baby. betanysports.eu, code word GLORYHOLE. One more time, betanysports.eu, code word GLORYHOLE. And with that, Longhorn, we're going to get into everybody's favorite part of the show, and it's going all those wins coming in the air tonight, baby! All right, Longhorn, we're going to start over there across the pond in London, where Carolina takes on Tampa Bay, and Carolina right now is a 2.5-point favorite in this game.
Well, Bocephus, I think you have the location wrong, because on my notes, I have this as the first ever game played in China. So China. I couldn't in good conscience do a really good handicap in communist China. But with that said, Carolina has been off to a hot start since Cam got hurt. Their offense has been a machine, and Tampa Bay has been doing the same thing. They're on fire on offense, and I look for a shootout in China, which is hard to do since they don't allow their citizens to own guns. Basically, I'm passing this game is what I'm saying.
All right, moving on. Cincinnati goes to Baltimore, where they are a consensus 11-point road dog.
Okay, now here we go. Now we got a game I like. If I can find it on my screen. Way down there. Okay, we got a huge line here and a bad defense laying a double-digit line. That's going to bring out all the sharps. You get a double-digit line going against a bad defense, and every shark is going to smell blood in the water. I'm still waiting for Baltimore to prove me wrong that they're even a decent defense. They have looked absolutely awful, one of the worst in the league. Until they do, I'm going to keep fading them, especially with a line like this at 10+. I lean Cincy.
Yep, all algorithms agree with you on that one too. So moving on, Seattle goes to your Cleveland Browns, where they are 1.5-point road favorites.
Okay, not my Cleveland Browns, but I do lean to them in this game. Only slightly, though, if I could only find them on my computer screen, which I can't right now. That's unfortunate.
I feel like every week, boys and girls, if you've been listening, every week he denies that they're his Browns, but yet every week he's got a slight lean to the Browns, or he kind of likes the Browns, but they're not his Browns. But remember, but he kind of likes them every week.
There's these are recorded and left on the internet, right? Like we could go back and fact check that, right? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways, moving on. So I do have a slight lean to Cleveland here. They're coming off a Monday night embarrassment and facing a team that, in my opinion, is just a little bit overhyped, a little bit overinflated right now. Not that they're a bad team. I just think they're getting a little blown out of proportion. Seattle's best win came at home versus the Rams, where the Rams were on a short week in traveling. And the kicker for the Rams had a relatively easy kick to win that game for LA. Cleveland has faced the second toughest pass defense schedule so far, and Seattle has faced the third easiest pass defense so far. The Seattle Seahawks pass rush is bottom third in the league, so I think Baker will have time to find his talented weapons out there. Greedy Williams and Ward should be back for Cleveland in the secondary. I have a slight lean to Cleveland.
All right, moving on to Kansas City, where Houston comes calling, and this line is down to 4 points. Houston +4.
Yeah, and where that line open at, Bocephus?
Got it at 8.5 here.
Jesus Christ! Every fucking sharp in the world pounced on that. I love Houston at those massive points. Can't get them anymore. I still have a lean to Houston at the 4.5. This game's all about injuries to me, and they're taking the toll on the Kansas City team. Hill, questionable. Fisher, out. Watkins, questionable. The left guard is nursing some injuries. He might miss the game. There's two defensive linemen who have not been practicing all week. We'll see if they're going to go. But really, this game comes down to Mahomes and his ankle. That game changed last week when the offensive tackle stepped on him, re-aggravated that injury that he got earlier in the year. His game really relies on being able to play a little bit off script when the plays break down. The defensive script has changed a little bit on how to play him, and that started with Belichick back in the AFC Championship game. And Coach Pencil last week or a couple weeks ago in Detroit tried it with some success. They did. Kansas City did win that game, but there was some success. And Indy last week, they pretty much perfected it. They added a blitz package to it that other teams hadn't been doing. Indy blitzed Mahomes on 42% of his dropbacks last week. Ran man across the board and paid special attention to Kelsey over the middle. So when you got Mahomes with an injury like that, statue in the pocket, and he can't flush out and burn these teams with massive weapons on the outside like he has in the past, that's just a huge red flag to me. Now on the Houston side, they are the 5th best rushing efficiency offense in the league, the 5th best in explosive runs in the league, which bodes well against a team that cannot stop the run. And the offensive line is the last nugget I have on this. Since Houston reshuffled their line, brought in Tunsil, inserted the 2 high draft picks that they drafted last year, it's changed everything. Watson's only been sacked 2 times in the last 2 games. Their running game is taken off. Literally, Bo Stevens, the only thing that can mess up this game, and we've talked about it before in the podcast, is fucking O'Brien. The coach is not good. He can absolutely screw this game by not looking at all these numbers that I've looked at and literally playing this. Like, the blueprint's in front of him. Is he smart enough to play it? I don't fucking know, but he should be, and they should be able to hang in there with Kansas City and even have a shot to win.
All right, moving on. New Orleans goes to Jacksonville, where Jacksonville's 2.5-point home favorite.
Okay, God, we are so out of pattern here. I'm scrolling all over the place. All right, so Bridgewater had kind of his coming out party of the season last week against Tampa, and you can say, hey, Tampa, that's Tampa. They suck on defense, and they do. But Carolina went through that Jacksonville defense last week like Swiss cheese, and to me, Carolina and New Orleans, they feel like similar built teams to me. They both have dynamic running backs in the running game and the passing game, and relatively inexperienced quarterbacks. So I look for I know it's going against the steam. I know it's going against what a lot of people are saying, but I look for New Orleans to have some success on this team on the road. And since 2012, Jacksonville is only 5-21 against the spread versus NFC teams. Let this team, if you're leading New Orleans like I am, let this team keep going. Maybe you can get it at +3 by game time. I've got to lean to New Orleans here.
My favorite thing about this game is the fact that I think they're handing out 30,000 mustaches out of the first 30,000 fans for my boy Gardner Minshew. So that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
All right.
It'll be a fun one to watch.
Yeah. Moving on, Minnesota, the Vikings, where they are 3-point home favorites versus those dirty goddamn Eagles.
Yeah, hell yes. This is another one of my favorite games this week. Okay. Give me some latitude here, Bo Stevens. Prime time, big game Cousins is the narrative. We talked about it a million times on this podcast. But there's some stories coming out, and we might be able to find a more truer reasoning for all of this than we even knew. Apparently, he has a severe case of OCD, and his daily routine on game day is legendary. And anytime that it gets thrown off of that normal noon kickoff time, that's when things go bad. So we've talked about on the podcast before, and we've actually made a lot of money running that Cousins narrative prime time against good teams. I think we have a chance to make more money if we dig in a little deeper, and here's what I got. Cousins, in his career, in noon kickoff games, when he can set his schedule and everything, and most of his games are going to be at noon, obviously, and that sets his whole day up, he is 30-17 against the spread for 63%. A game any other time, whether it's Thursday at night, Sunday at night, Sunday at 3, any other game, he is 9-20 for 31%. So I'm not going to discount that it's still prime time and he shrinks against the competition under the lights, but I think there might be a chance that it's a little deeper than that, and we got a chance to get money on both sides of that trend. Huge weakness for Philly is their secondary. Darby is still out, and obviously Minnesota, one of their strengths is their weapons outside and a strong running game. We talk about all the time the Zimmer trend about he's the best coach against the spread in the league at 65%. But here's another little nugget for you. in his time in Minnesota at home versus non-division opponents, he is 18-2 against the spread. So you got a noon kickoff, you got a huge Zimmer trend. I got a pretty heavy lean towards Minnesota minus the points.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. And for the Cousins thing, so you're telling me that, we've always talked about the primetime things because, he's weak. And so you're confirming that by saying, yeah, he's a nut job. Sir, are you calling? I'm sorry, are you attacking the mentally challenged OCD people? Is that what you're doing right now? Not attacking. I mean, it's just confirmation that obviously, something's different about him where he has a mental weakness, and that's kind of what gets him off his game. So, but glad to know we finally got confirmation on that theory. That's awesome.
Yeah, we can win money on both sides of this now.
All right, and Minnesota is the agreement between all three algorithms. Love Philadelphia in that game.
No, Minnesota.
Minnesota, sorry. Yes. Moving on. Miami is home dogs of 3.5 points to. Okay, so they're at home, and they're dogs by 3.5 points to another team that does not have a win on the season. Woo!
Yeah. Okay, so first of all, hello, fucking the all-time corner TV game. Secondly, Washington's point differential this season is -78, which sounds fucking awful until you say Miami's point differential, which is -137. Oh my God, we are a quarter of the way through the season. I want no part of this loser bowl, but if I did have a lean, it would be to Washington laying the points based on a slight uptick in motivation off a coach getting fired and the fact that Miami has been in tank mode since the season, since before the season started, and they got their eyes on the number one pick in the draft. I mean, if Miami were to beat the Redskins in this game, that would be disastrous to everything that they've prepared to do in this season, which is get that number one pick. They can't beat a winless Redskins team, because that would mean they would have to win twice to get back in front of the Redskins for the first pick. So, yeah, I've got to lean to Washington.
Yep, I think you said it all right there. It's the motive. This is the number one pick in the draft, Super Bowl, ladies and gentlemen.
Absolutely.
So Miami, and here's the other thing: you talk about motivation, like the players aren't trying to lose. That's not what we're saying. But you got to remember, at least Miami has a plan, and then everybody is sticking to it. So the coach is not going to get fired. And when the coach doesn't get fired, that means nobody on the staff is getting fired, which means none of the players really. I mean, you're going to have your normal turnover, whatever, but they're not all worried about their job. Some of them know they're not going to be there. But in Washington, what you have now is a coach that already got fired. So now every single coach in that staff is not only coaching to possibly keep a job there, which they probably won't. That's not how it works. But what they're doing is they're going to put their resumes out and put the best stuff they got on film so that they can get another job when they do get fired when the new guy shows up. That's one. Number two, same thing for the players. Every player on the Redskins team now knows there's going to be a new coach come in, which means most of them go away because that's not their guys, right? So they're trying to put the best film out there possible because they either want to stay in Washington with a job or they want a job somewhere else next year. So when a coach gets fired, that's why you have that slight uptick, because now everybody's on board too, but they're on board the other way. They know they better go out there and play their balls off because the axe is coming.
Hey, you remember Trent Williams?
Yeah, I think he played for the Redskins.
What's he doing?
Once upon a time.
What's he doing? What's he doing over there?
He's
off season.
He's just hanging out. He don't want any part of this dumpster fire. Oh, one last note on this game: Case Keenum is back, and say what you want to about Case Keenum, but he is at least a million times better than Colt McCoy or Dwayne Haskins ever thought about being. And that's another thing too. Dwayne Haskins, that is turning into a disaster quickly for Washington, because the word coming out of there now is, not only is he not ready to play, he don't even work hard to get ready to play. So that's a problem.
Sounds like a RG 3.5. I don't know. RG4. I don't know what you would call it.
Yeah, at least RG3 was, could play a little bit.
Yeah, he came in and did good early and then fell apart.
All right, moving on to the Rams. They are 3-point home favorites versus those 49ers.
Okay. Here's another game I like as soon as I find it. There it is. All right, so strange things happened this week in this game. One of the tackles got ruled out for San Francisco earlier in the week, and Gurley now has a new mystery injury, and we don't know if he's playing. And actually, I'll have to double check it. Check that at game time to see if Gurley's playing, but he's definitely not practicing, and that's going to be an issue. Here's the deal. San Francisco is just flat out one of the best teams in the league, and you can throw some numbers out, to support that. And a matter of fact, Football Outsiders, which is a highly analytic-driven business, they have them ranked as one of the best teams that they've ranked over the last several years. Like going back a few years, this San Francisco team is one of the best teams that they've got rated. It's just been quiet, it's been sneaky, but all the numbers support it. Defensively, offensively, coaching, all upper echelon in the league, and even though McVay has gotten all the love so far as kind of the boy genius, are we sure that Shanahan's not the true prodigy here? He's won with quarterbacks named Mullins and Beathard. So I've got them as the better team, period, right now, and they're 3.5-point dogs. I've got a heavy lean to the dog, and as a matter of fact, Bocephus, why don't you go ahead and hit that sounder? Because I've got San Francisco going in here and beating LA. They're just flat out better in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. They're number 2 in power rankings in all the NFL. My power rankings anyway, not right behind, but behind them. So yeah, and all the algorithms support you. Go 49ers. All right, moving on. Arizona, where they are 2.5-point home dogs to the Atlanta Falcons.
Oh, Atlanta. Weren't they in the Super Bowl like 2 years ago?
Yep.
Jesus Christ. That's just, man. Atlanta is near dead last in defense, in points per game and points per play, and they are 30th in defensive third down percentages. They've run the ball less than anyone and have allowed the most touchdowns to wide receivers than anyone in the league, and they're going against an air raid offense here. Atlanta is also the most penalized team in the league, and on the road they are on a 5-16 running against the spread. The circus midget may finally get to break out and do that circus midget dance. Last week, Murray ran the ball 10 times for 93 yards. Kind of been waiting for that all season, for him to bust out that running part of the game that we heard about. He's kind of been scared to run around with all those big giants running around him. David Johnson was dealing with a back issue earlier this week, but it sounds like he's going to be a go. I'm telling you right now, Dan Quinn will be fired after this loss, and he knows it. This is dead man walking. This is dead team walking. They're going in there to lose, and they're going in there knowing there's going to be a huge shakeup. I've got to lean to Arizona.
Yep, I'm with you. The numbers are with you. Go Cardinals. All right, moving on. Those Dallas Cowboys go to the New York Jets. Jets. And they are 7-point road favorites.
Yep, Bocephus, I'm going to shock you here and do, for the first time for a Dallas game in the history of the Football Glory Hole podcast. And hello, fucking... I don't want to watch this game. I'm sorry, I have zero interest in this game. If Tyron Smith plays, and honestly, even if he doesn't for that matter, they should be able to handle up on this winless Jets team. I've got to... If I was forced to bet it, which I have zero interest in betting or watching, I would lean Dallas coming off 2 losses to kind of rally and get this season straightened up. And they're going against a team that obviously hasn't won a game, but they're getting their quarterback back. He's going to be rusty. He's going to be really tired after all those age treatments he's been getting for the last few weeks. So I don't see him being much of a factor. So based on all that, I would lean to Dallas, but for the first time in maybe that I can ever remember, Dallas probably will not have a spot on one of my TVs.
The only real interest I have in this game is I'm interested to see, I guess, Darnold come back, but then how much this affects go forward. Because if you looked at the line before it was announced he was in, it was 9. He comes back, it's 7. So the market moved 2 points. Now, I think Darnold's more than a 2-point quarterback, but to your point, maybe they're thinking rust a little bit. Maybe it's not the full Darnold effect first game back. But I want to see how he plays, and I want to see, I want to look at the look-ahead lines for next week, and then how does it move based on what he looks like? Does he get he can't be any less value than 2 points. Like, that's not possible. But does it go from 2 to, maybe 4 if he goes out there and plays well? Even if they lose, he plays well, they look good. Everybody's like, okay, he's back. They're going to be, at least, a competent football team again.
Yeah, and I think it'll definitely get back to the 4.5 points of value that he should be. I think that 2-point move, I think that was baked in. I think they set the line accordingly because they knew he had a shot to play and they didn't want to take a bath at the Jets at like plus 11.5 and then have to jump all the way down to 7 if Darnold played, which he was probably going to play. So I think they split the difference to kind of, hedge their bets a little bit and be on the safe side.
All right, moving on. Denver Broncos are 2-point home favorites against the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah, buddy. Now we will have our first possible snow game of the year here, and I have to favor the more physical team, the team that runs the ball better in these conditions. Tennessee rushes the ball better. They rush the passer better. They have the better quarterback, although that may be very marginal and super small, but at least the better overall quarterback because at least Monroe can get out of the pocket and make some plays with his legs. Add all that up, I don't have a whole lot here because I've got zero interest in this game. The coaching advantage is obviously to Tennessee. Everything points to me for Tennessee. Even the line is wrong based on my power rankings, so this honestly should be a game I should be heavily looking at to take Tennessee, but I literally have zero interest in this game. You got anything over there?
Well, I just got back from Denver, and I can tell you that I saw Marcus Mariota there last night at a karaoke bar, and he's got a nice voice, actually. You wouldn't think so. He doesn't talk much, but he's actually got a pretty decent tenor voice to him. So, yeah, I like Tennessee here. Which
guy did he take on from the ball?
I'm not at liberty to discuss that, sir.
Moving on. He's like 28 and not married. People. I mean, people are starting to ask questions.
Yeah, we'll see. All right, Pittsburgh goes to LA/SD, but yes, LA, and they are 6.5-point road dogs to the Chargers.
Yeah, I got a heavy pass in this game. I literally don't ever bet games with third-string quarterbacks. I did love that little nugget that you sent me earlier that recent and former first-round draft pick Paxton Lynch is the backup quarterback to a guy I have literally never fucking heard of. Wouldn't surprise me at all if the Chargers win this game by 50. But who the fuck knows? I'm not betting it. I'm not watching it.
Yep. It's hard. I mean, you don't know what you're going to get for the third-string quarterback and the Chargers. I don't know if the Chargers have 48 dudes to suit up on Sunday at this point. So
they're running short, but you know what? That guy did look pretty good last week when he came in. We did have Pittsburgh plus 3.5 against Baltimore, and when Mason Rudolph got UFC KO'd, I thought we were going to be in trouble. But that dude came in and started slinging a little bit. But like you said, you can't handicap a 1.25, or I don't remember how much he even played, but you can't handicap that, so it's a complete pass for me.
All right, moving on to the Monday night game. Detroit Lions go to Green Bay, and they are 4-point road dogs.
Yep, and I'm not going to dig too much into this game because we will probably have a play on this game. Whether we have to fight it out, we'll determine. But check our podcast, check our YouTube, check our website for the up-to-date information on this Monday night game because we will probably put something out on one or all of those forums on Sunday night or sometime during Monday. So check in with us on that game, and we will probably have a play.
All right, that was all the wins that was coming in the area tonight, baby! All right, Longhorn Outs, everybody's favorite part of the show. Why don't you give those free NFL pick of the week, baby?
All right, I'm going to go with those OCD Minnesota Vikings. We talked about it earlier. I just love this game. I love this pick. I love the handicap. Our NFL free pick of the week is Minnesota minus those points. And don't forget, you can always get our free picks on our website for free. So do that every week if you're trying to dip your toes into what we do and see if you want to test us out.
That sounds fantastic. Tell them about that fabulous website one more time.
All right. Oh, you glory hole seekers. That's going to wrap up another award-winning episode of the Football Glory Hole podcast. We thank each and every one of you for tuning in. Y'all come back to the Sports Patio next week, and don't forget to subscribe and give us a 5-star rating so we can pay those bills. Hit us up on any of our social medias, and don't forget to subscribe to both our YouTube channels, the Football Glory Hole and the Degenerate with RJ Choppy. And remember, if you're new to this and a little hesitant on placing a bet, we have weekly and monthly packages as well. Quick reminder, I will be doing quick hits every Saturday and Sunday morning for additional free picks from our premium picks list. Now, if you're only taking our free picks from the podcast and our quick hits on YouTube, you are doing football betting all wrong, and quit being so stupid. People, stop throwing away your hard-earned money on a guessing game. Let the pros do the heavy lifting. So sign up, tell a friend, and join in on the fun of watching football, drinking beer, and never pay a bookie again. Come on.
God damn it. People never pay a bookie again. Steven Tyler, take us out, baby.